Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm Catherine Thibault, Customer Success Director at Yapla, and I'm really happy to be here with Alexandre Sagala, digital marketing expert and president and founder of Pertinence Media. I'm really excited to share his expertise with you because at Yapla, we've been working with Alexandre and his team for a long time for our marketing strategies. So in today's webinar, you'll learn about your option to get practical tips on how to boost your online presence. I'll be on the chat panel to answer your question. And don't worry, you'll get the presentation and replay at the end of the meeting. Alexandre, if you want, you can take over the presentation now, and I'll go into the chat room. Enjoy the webinar.
Thank you, Catherine. Thank you for the good presentation. So today we're going to cover different topics. So this webinar is about SEO, SEA, and Google Ad Grants, and which basically strategy your nonprofit should choose to boost its visibility. So we're going to look at different scenarios, different methods. I'll try to explain them. And as always, you can ask questions in the chat. We'll try to integrate them or answer them at the end. So don't be afraid of asking questions and we'll go through them. So basically, like Catherine said, my name is Alexandre Sagala. I'm the founder of Pertinence Media. So Pertinence Media, we're a B2C and B2B digital marketing agency. We're a boutique agency of 12 experts. And we basically handle a couple of different services, mainly everything that has to do around digital strategy, digital advertising management, email and marketing automation, and also SEO, search engine optimization. So those are all, there is a couple of topics we're going to cover today. And that's all we do at Pertinence Media. So no branding, no development, no website. So we just do marketing. So as mentioned, if you have very specific questions on certain things, feel free to ask them and we'll try to go through them as we talk or at the end of the webinar. So the game plan today is basically kind of look at what search engine optimization is and why it's relevant for your SEO, and also search engine in general, search engine marketing in general, what it is. We'll be looking at the differences between search engine optimization SEO, search engine advertising SEA, and a program called the Google Ad Grants that I think will be very, very enticing for you because it has a certain level of money that they give away to help you basically use it for advertising. So it's a really nice offering. And 3, we're going to look at SEO, SEA, ad grants, and which one you should be using and how you basically structure the dynamics between all 3 to basically get that nice visibility online that everyone kind of is looking for. So those are going to be the top 3 things we're going to look into. So just a question before we get started. So in 1998, how many searches per day do you think there were in Google? You can write the answer in the chat. 98 is basically the start of Google, right? So just not to keep people waiting, it's 10,000. So in 1998, there were 10,000 searches per day. And today, there's basically 99,718 per second, right? So the Google usage, internet usage in general went up exponentially. It's now something that people use, yes, to buy things, yes, to look into different subject matters, but basically also to find NPOs they can work with, become members with. Basically, you shouldn't have the web basically be something second mind, but you should be top of mind for you and your strategy, and making sure that you basically have a sound approach to how you should go about your digital advertising or digital presence in general. So basically, you can sell everything online, and when I use the word sell and everything, what I mean, it could be a message that you're trying to sell. It can be memberships, tickets, but basically everything is sellable online. It's not true anymore that only certain products or only certain services basically get good results online. You can sell anything and everything online. And the little example is for maybe the older people in the webinar. We used to buy cars by going to car dealerships, right? You used to go to Toyota, Honda, whatever, Ford, and kind of look at the different cars, look at the different models, colors, and then you would actually pick your car based on the dealerships that you went to. Whereas right now, fast forward a couple of years, people are buying cars online, and one of the biggest success stories is Tesla. Basically, they started selling cars uniquely online, just online, no physical presence. So if you can sell cars that are worth $70,000, $100,000 online without seeing them, basically anything is sellable online. So basically, if we look at the search engine marketing and what it means, basically search engine marketing is a group of services or tactics that basically are used to improve the visibility and the position of a website, both organically and through advertising on Google, on our search engines. And the goal of search engine marketing is basically to be found and be seen by people doing a search, right? So if someone is looking for specific tickets to buy, or a specific NPO, or a specific message, or to become a donator or a member of, well, they'll go online, they'll type in Google, they'll do different things, and that's what we're going to talk about. How do you increase that visibility for those people doing those actions? So basically, search engine marketing is kind of threefold. I included the social media optimization in there, but we won't talk about it during this webinar. We'll focus mostly on the SEA, which is search engine advertising, and the SEO portion, which is search engine optimization. And we'll look at both of them separate together and how they interact and how you should be structuring your approach online. So for everyone to get a really good example of what the terms mean, what the actual words mean, so SEA, the search engine advertising, is usually what you're going to see on top of the different pages and that have that sponsored mentioned here, all right? So this means that basically someone paid to get that spot. And then for SEO, which is a search engine optimization, well, basically it's the first and other results as well on the bottom that are not sponsored. So you don't see that sponsored. So these are positions that are given to companies, to websites, to NPOs that basically have a really strong SEO presence and that basically answer a couple of different criteria that we're going to go through. So that's the difference. Once you're paying, that's the difference between them. One you're paying, the other one you have to optimize for, and we'll look at how you do that. So again, why is this important? The search engine marketing portion is because 35% of the searches for a product or a service start on Google. And this is only for Google, so it doesn't count Amazon, it doesn't count Bing, it doesn't count other things. But when you think about it, if your visibility is not on par on Google, well, you're probably losing that 35%, and someone else is getting it, another NPO or your competition that's getting it. So it's really important to have a sound strategy and basically be well listed on Google. And if you're not, well, it's the equivalent of having a nice house in the middle of nowhere that nobody can reach, right? You can have the best website built on Yapla, the best UI, the best graphics, everything, the best creatives. If nobody has a way to find you, then basically you're doing all of this for nothing, right? Nobody's going to know about your NPO. Nobody's going to know about what you have to say, what you have to sell, and basically you're losing your time. So basically, without search engine marketing, you don't exist. Okay, so nowadays, 2025, if you don't have a sound search engine marketing strategy, you don't exist for most people out there. So let's take a look at the SEO and the SEA and the Google Ad Grants and what basically they are and how you can use them to how you can position yourself to use them correctly. So SEO, or search engine optimization, is basically all the techniques used to improve a website's position on the result page of search engines, mainly Google or Bing. We usually talk a lot about Google because it has a lot more presence, but it also works for Bing as well. And what we basically want these search engines to pick our pages, to pick our website pages, and position them, show them as high as possible on the results page. So in the case where you saw that Yapla screenshot, well, we typed a keyword and Yapla was first organic results. That's what you want. If you can see it again, then Yapla NPO management software, then I'm first, second, third. It's because I searched for Yapla, but you get the concept of it, right? So you want to be as high up in the rankings so that a lot of people click on your website and that they actually end up on your website, and then they can look at your content, read about what you have to say, and do the actions you want them to do. So that's the concept. So how does this work? Well, basically SEO presence or these listings, you cannot buy them. You can only buy the sponsor ones. The organic ones, basically they cannot be bought. So what you need to do is basically manipulate the algorithm to pick your content, your web pages instead of the ones of your competitors or of other NPOs in your space. And basically, there's around 200 different factors that Google uses to basically rank these pages. So it goes on your website, it looks at the content of the different pages, it uses these 200 different factors, and they basically decides if you're going to be first, second, 10th, 30th for a specific keyword theme that are being searched on. I also added a link if you want to the actual guidelines that they use. If you feel on reading about them, it's around 200 pages. So yeah, good pre-bedtime reading if you're interested in that type of thing. So out of those 200 factors, there's two different factor groups basically. One's called the on-site factor groups, and the other one's called off-site. So basically, on-site are all the factors that Google are going to look at on your website. So when the Google Spider comes on your website, or the Google Robot comes on your website, looks at your different pages, there's ways and techniques to manipulate the algorithm to say, hey, my page is about this topic. Here's what I want you to index, et cetera, et cetera. So that's called on-site. And then there's another group called off-site, and those are all the factors that you cannot manipulate with your own website. You have basically to manipulate other people's website, and we'll see how to do that a little bit further down the webinar. So the concept of on-site, what's important when you're looking to optimize a website for SEO, if you want to keep it very macro, very high level, is basically every page on your website needs a theme, right? So if you have a page on the website about an NPO management software, there's only one page that you can optimize for that theme, for that specific keyword. All the other pages are going to be about other keywords. Right, so that's really important to understand, because if you optimize your whole website, 25 pages, for example, for NPO management software or NPO payment software, well, you're not gonna, all your pages are gonna compete against each other for the same theme, for the same keyword, and you do not want that. You wanna make sure that's one theme per page. So how do you go about making sure that Google understands what the theme of that specific page is? Well, there's a quick little dirty trick, or not dirty, easy trick that you can do that basically will allow you to ensure that Google understands what your page is about. So what you need to do is have the title of the page, so the top of the page, the title, the page URL, and the page H1, the H1 being usually the slogan that you're going to see on a page. You make them actually talk about the same theme, about the same keyword. So if we take the example of management software for NPOs, well, I'm going to pick up a page on my website, and I'm going to put the title of that page. I'm going to write management software for NPOs, and the URL of that page will be management software for NPOs. And the H1 for that page is going to be management software for NPOs. And then in the content, I'm going to write around 150 words or more if you want. And I'm going to talk about management software for NPOs and what it does and what it doesn't do and all those different things. And if you do that, you're going to send a really strong signal to Google to say, hey, this page is about management software, NPO. So this is a starting point to do that. I'll put a little note also to not use ChatGPT. You can use it if you're lacking inspiration to write your content or things like that, but do not generate the whole content with ChatGPT. Google and other search engines will actually recognize that and penalize your page for it. So don't quote unquote, don't be lazy, don't take the easy route. You actually have to write the whole thing and to reap the rewards of being listed on Google. The other thing that you need to do to send a really strong signal is to do what we call internal linking. So you see this is a page for Structube, a furniture store. Basically, they have a section here where they have, I'm on the furniture section, and they have, links to their living room, to their dining room, to their bedroom, to their office, home decor, etc. So don't rely only on your menus to link content. You should be linking other pages on each web page you have. So if you have a page called management software for NPO, make sure on that page there's a link towards your payment software for NPO theme, and try to create this spider web between the pages, and don't just rely on menus. Put actual links in your content forwarding to your pages as well. So that's called internal linking, and it's super important in 2025. The other thing that's super important in 2025 is the schema tags. So make sure that you have schema tags. I never know if it's schema tags or schema tags, but I call them schema tags. And basically, they're a way for you to add structured content inside your pages. So when the Google Spider, the Google robot comes on your page, it's actually reading the source code of that page, the HTML of that page. Well, if you have schema tags, then you can actually define and say, hey, Google, the address of my NPO is this, that. My page description is about this, and that. Here's my keywords. Here are all my different things. And you can kind of lay it out super well for the robots, and therefore it's easier for them to index, easier for them to understand, therefore giving you a better chance of being indexed for what the keyword themes you want to be listed at. It's also potentially, it's still under scrutiny if it's true or not, but it's also a possibility that these schema tags are going to be used for LLMs, so for feeding chat GPTs and all the other AI agents that are existing now, but to be confirmed. And I put a URL towards the Google search tool to test your rich test results. So basically, when you put in the URL of your website here, it's going to tell you if your website has schema tags, and if so, which ones are being used. So if you want to test your own URLs, just follow this link, and you'll be able to test your website up. Now, so I told you originally there was like two groups of factors: the on-site, which we just covered. There's a lot more on-site factors, but those are the ones, like the top trendy ones that you should know about today. The off-site is a little bit trickier because basically we're talking about something called EAT, and it's basically a way for Google to identify if you're credible, an expert, and you're trustworthy, basically, of being ranked on the first page of Google. Because remember, Google's goal is basically to provide the best search results for a specific keyword that's been typed in. So they want credible websites, they want experts, they want credibility, and so offsite is about creating that. So how do you go about that? To increase your expertise, basically you need to publish content from experts with real added value. What that means for NPOs is, or even Yapla, if you want to get a chance of being listed on the first pages of Google, well, you have to create blog articles, you have to create webinars like we're doing right now, different pieces of content that can be indexed, and basically giving a signal to Google, you know what, I'm an NPO on this topic. Well, here's all the content, and here's what I know about my NPO and how we're good and how we're experts. And that's basically going to give you an added bonus in terms of expertise and credibility. The other aspect that you have to consider is you have to try and get as many links, as many quality links from other websites, right? So if you get a link from the Financial Post or from a university in BC that says, hey, and it links back to your NPO, and Google sees that, well, they're going to say, well, this university in BC is really credible. They're linking to this NPO, therefore, this NPO is also really credible. And then they're going to give a boost to your pages and the content, and your rankings will increase, right? So those are the things you have to really look into. I put examples of Wikipedia, the Globe and Mail, Vancouver Sun, but basically any website that has already credibility, if you can get a link on those websites, that will transfer credibility to your website and therefore increase your rankings. So that's what you should be doing for the offsite. And then if you're really serious about doing SEO, definitely investing in an SEO audit with an agency, with someone, a third party, not a tool online. It's going to basically give you a little game plan of everything that's broken, everything you should be fixing. And then once you've done that audit and you fix the things, then you know you have a really solid, strong foundation for your SEO, and then you can build on it with your trustworthiness, your credibility, and your expertise. And then it should lead to pretty good results. So SEO, the advantages of SEO is, well, you get free quality traffic. All right. When someone clicks on your link, the Yapla and management software for NPOs, when someone clicks on that, you pay $0 to Google. It's free traffic, and it's quality traffic also. Disadvantages, though, sorry about that. The disadvantages about SEO, though, is it needs a lot of effort. You see it a little bit. You have to optimize all your pages, invest in audits and different things and schema tags. And results can also take a long time, right? They usually take 6+ months, if not a year. But once you get there, then you get that free quality traffic forever, which is not the case for, when you're doing what SEA or Google ad grants. Okay, so those are the advantages and disadvantages of the SEO. So if we take a look at the search engine advertising, which is the kind of the counterpart of SEO in search engine marketing, basically it's advertising. So you're paying and buying keywords, and when you're buying keywords, basically on Google, you'll see an ad like you saw for the sponsored section of Yapla. And every time someone types in a keyword that you bought, your ad will show up. So the goal is to have people see your ads, and then people will click on your ad, and then they end up on your website, and you get that traffic going. So again, the example of what the search engine advertising looks like. These are text ads. So you see, again, sponsored, and then when someone will click the actual blue link in this listing, it will cost Yapla money or your NPO money. What's also cool about SEA, is search engine advertising, is you can also use banner ads. So you're not limited to only text ads. You can actually have created for you, banners on different websites, and have a lot more visibility and a lot more creative freedom with those things. And you also can use YouTube or video, so you can have ads embedded in videos, or you can have videos being your ad. So if you've got something that's a little bit more complicated to explain, if your NPO is a little bit more complex, then video, 15 seconds, 6 seconds, you can use that to actually be an ad for your NPO, which is really cool. So the way it works is basically keywords are auctioned. So it's an auction, and basically all the advertisers will compete against each other for the keywords that they want to have. So basically, if someone types in NPO management software or NPO payment software, well, there's a real-time auction that happens. It will look at all the advertisers that are willing to pay for that specific keyword, and then we'll rank them. Okay, and it's not only a money game. So it's not because you pay more for a keyword that you will end up getting your ad shown. It's about, yes, how much you're willing to pay for the ad, but also the relevance between your targeted keyword, your landing page, and the quality of the ad. So if you're buying a keyword like management software for NPO or any other keyword, and the landing page or the ad that you're showing or that you're driving traffic to is not relevant to the keyword that you bought, you'll get penalized. It's called the quality score. And if your quality score is too low, like 2 on 10, well, even if you pay $100 per click, your ad will never be shown. Okay, so it's a lot about quality and making sure that your keyword, your ad, and landing page are actually relevant between each other and talk about the same keyword, the same theme, or the same topics. This we just covered. So just maybe a little bit more detail of how things work. And basically, the advantages of search engine advertising is basically it's really quick to set up. So you create an account, you put money, you create your ads, you pick your keywords, and basically in 2 days you can have ads showing up on Google and driving traffic to your website. Right? So quick to set up, fast results, and it also has really advanced targeting. Right? So you can actually pick the keywords you wanna show an ad for. And if you don't want certain keywords, you can remove them. So you can be very, very specific in terms of geography, language, all these different targeting parameters that will basically make it a lot easier to show your ad at the right person. Right? The main disadvantages of a search engine advertising is the fact that it requires a constant monetary investment. So basically, if you stop investing money, your ads are stopping and your traffic is stopping. Contrary to SEO, where you got that kind of free traffic. Well, in the case of search engine advertising, you stop paying, your ads stop being shown. Okay. But there's a solution to that disadvantage for NPO, because you're lucky. And it's a program called Google Ad Grants. Basically, Google Ad Grants gives you $10,000 US free per month, right? So I don't know any NPO or any private entity that would say no to that. So yeah, NPOs are kind of lucky where they get that $10,000 US free that they can invest in their search engine advertising efforts. Okay. And it's the official name of the program is called Google Ad Grants, and it's part of something called Google for Nonprofits. You have the link here if you want to kind of look at it yourself. It explains everything. But basically, the way it works is you get a budget of $10,000 US per month free. There's no minimum. So basically, if you spend $1,000 per month, it's fine as well. You don't have to spend the whole 10,000. Sometimes, your campaign's more local in a very specific region, so you can't spend the 10,000, and that's fine as well. It only allows the purchase of keywords on Google.ca, right? So I'll show you a little bit later on what that means. There are strict rules in terms of keyword management. So a Google Ad Grants account is a little bit more complex to optimize in and get your ads shown. The logic behind it is they want to make sure that nobody's using that $10,000 US per month to basically flood the market with irrelevant ads that don't make sense for the specific keywords. And it's also possible, and you should have an Ad Grants account and a standard Google Ads account, right? And here's the main reason why. So with a Google Ad Grants account, you cannot do banners. No banners, no video, nothing creative. So you're kind of stuck with only the text ads that we shown, which work really well, by the way. But you cannot have banners and you cannot have video. So what most people do, what most NPOs do, is they get a Google Ad Grants account, and everything that has to do with keywords, well, they do in that specific account, and they maximize their $10,000 per month that way. And when they want to do banner advertising, or when they do video or other types of advertising, well, they'll do it in their standard Google Ads account, which they pay for, but that way they can do banners and video on one side and then get those free keywords on the other side, right? So still pretty cool, still pretty good program, and really nice way of saving money and optimizing your budgets and optimizing also your visibility, which is nice for NPOs. There are eligibility criteria. So that means not everyone can have access to a Google Ad Grants account. You have to be a registered charity in good standing. That means with their digital number, the federal number, or the Quebec-based number, or other province numbers, where that you need to provide. They will validate the identity of your NPO, and then they'll confirm if you're okay with it or not. If you're on the fence about are you eligible or not, go for it. There's no penalties for them saying no, right? We have a couple of examples of entities that are kind of on the fence in terms of eligibility. They still got in. So if I'm part of an NPO, I would definitely go through the process, and it's pretty straightforward. You can go on the website that I gave you the link for here, and then you'll have a big blue button that you can click, and it's basically a form that you fill in, and with different steps. I think there's 10 questions or something, so it's really, really simple. So I would definitely try to go for it and try to get the Google Ads Grants account. So the advantage of the Google Ad Grants accounts or approach is the fact that it's quick to set up, like the regular Google Ads or the search engine advertising. You get fast results, you get a lot of targeting as well, but it's free. right? You pay $0, so that's really nice. The disadvantages is, well, you have to be eligible. You're limited to text ads, right? So no creatives, but that can be overcome by having another Google account. And ads are given a lower priority, right? So, and that kind of makes sense when you think about it. If you're Google, you don't want just someone flooding ads with $10,000 US that they don't pay for, and kind of get in the way of paying advertisers. That being said, it's not simple, but like we have customers that have Google Ad Grants accounts that are spending the $10,000 US per month, right? So definitely something that's doable. It's just different, and you have to make things a little bit more perfect to get the whole $10,000. So that's the explanation of the Google Ad Grants. So how do you make your presence felt online, right? So am I going to do a little bit of SEO, a little bit of that, a little bit of this, dash of this, dash of that? So basically, this is what you should be doing if you want to start off with a strong digital presence, and how you should structure your things. So in terms of SEO, you should always be spending your time or some time optimizing your website. At first, if you're starting off, then maybe it means building links every week. It means looking at different pages and making sure you've got schema tags and the right titles and the right URLs and the right internal linking. And you should be doing that over and over again every week. All right. Websites change depending on the size of them. It can take you a longer time, but basically you should have a routine set in your schedule to look at your website SEO wise and making changes and making sure that everything's up to par. You should invest in creating content as well on your website through the blog, through webinars, through different channels, making sure that you have an approach that, again, that it becomes a routine. It can be every month, doesn't have to be every day, but you should be producing that content that can be indexed, and that's going to tell Google, hey, I'm credible, I'm an expert in this space, in my NPO space, and rank my pages, please. And also, if you're serious, like I mentioned, you should invest in an SEO audit. It's going to cover all your bases, and at least you'll have 85% of the job done. And then with your daily routine about optimizing your website and producing credible expert content, then you'll be able to get that 20% that's missing. And what you have to understand with SEO is that part of the success comes from consistency. So again, small actions more often are a lot better than a big one and then 6 months without doing nothing. Okay, so that's how you should see your SEO, and that's how you should structure it. In terms of search engine advertising, if you're on a budget, like PageSearch can get you there faster. Budget in terms of not only money but resource budget, about time budget. Like paid search can get you there faster. If you want to if you want to get members for a specific group, if you want to raise funds for a specific charity, then advertising and search engine advertising will basically spend $1, raise $5. Well, you've got a machine that can basically raise money for you, right? And if you have a Google Ads grant account, well, make sure you keep your campaigns active all the time. You're not paying for them, so you just might as well have them running all the time, and maximizing those ads, for specific keywords. When you're paying for them, then you might want to choose when you're on, when you're off in terms of ads. But if you're not spending for the ad money, might as well just keep your ads all on all the time and getting that additional visibility. And one of the things you can do with search engine advertising is, if you're getting good rankings for your SEO keywords, maybe don't spend the money on the good keywords you're getting on SEO. Spend them on keywords for which you don't have good SEO, and that way they become complementary, right? They're going to work together in synergy, and you'll have a lot better visibility for that. Other points before, also, if you want to make your online presence felt, well, advertising SEO, yes, it's about attracting people to your website, but make sure your website explains what you do and what's your purpose, right? If you're driving traffic to your website, but then, the website's not explaining what you do or what you want people to do, then you kind of lost your time, right? So make sure that your website's up to par as well, and it's really well laid out and that people understand it. And if you can, on the website, also try to offer something, downloads, videos, things that people can look at, download, leave their email. And again, yes, you're driving that traffic, you'll get emails in exchange. You can do different things with email, and it opens up another realm, another type of marketing you can do with email marketing. So it's important to have your website up to par, and it's important to offer something that people can download or take back with them. So yeah, that's it for the webinar. Thank you for your attention. And is there any questions? And Catherine is coming
There
back.
is one question. It's from Jamie. What can you pick beyond keywords and geo for SEA?
Yeah, there's a lot more targeting, but there's keywords, there's geo, there's a language as well. If you want a specific, target Spanish speaking people, you can do that. French, English, and the geo can be extremely precise, right? I can't remember if it's 2 kilometers or 5 kilometers, but basically you can pinpoint points on the map and do radiuses around them. So it's extremely precise. So if you want to do very local campaigns, very localized campaigns, then you can do that as well. And then there's also all sorts of other settings about interests, like what people like, what people are shopping for, what people are in the market for, things like that. So I'm not going to list all of them, but it's pretty exhaustive.
That was the only question.
So
Thank you very much, Alexandre. Once again, that was very useful. You just a heads up that you've got everything you need to optimize your website right on the Yapla website app, and you have your email on the presentation that you will receive after the meetings. So thank you very much, Alexandre. I think I'll end up the webinar right now, and have a good day.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.